The way we consume and share news today is largely rooted in social media outlets, a reason why it's crucial to look at what's being discussed online. From the hottest issues to trends for our daily social media minute, we're joined by Yerika, looking warm and cozy. Good morning.
A lot of fabric on me.
I was going to say, smart layers.
Very woolly.
No static? It's good?
Yeah, it's good for now. Let's see what happens if I take it off. I'm wearing a poncho.
Yes. It actually kind of just looks like a nice scarf, actually, in the view. But smart layers ought to do it. It's cold in the mornings.
Yeah. And warm in the
unseasonable.
afternoons.
It's really confusing, folks, but it's the perfect condition to catch a cold, so layer up. All right, our first buzzword of the day, a little bit of history lesson for those of you guys who are unaware. It turns out the name of another unknown Korean War soldier has been identified. There are excavation efforts that happen quite regularly.
That's right. So South Korea's military has identified the remains of another South Korean soldier who was killed during the Korean War. The remains were discovered earlier this year in July. And the Ministry of Defense's excavation team and service members from the 5th Infantry Division found Staff Sergeant Pyun Gi-man's remains from White Horse Ridge, or in Korean Baekmagoji, which was the site of one of the fiercest battles of the Korean War. It's currently located inside the demilitarized zone separating the two Koreas. Along with his remains, they discovered 91 pieces of his personal belongings, including a fountain pen with his name engraved on it right at the site.
Okay, so I do wonder, how was the ministry able to identify his remains? Is science just better? Is tech and gadgets just better?
And it's thanks to his family who registered his DNA samples over the course of, how many years? Since 2006. So over the course of 16 years, they registered his DNA 4 times. And they were able to narrow down the remains identity, thanks to the pen, and they were able to identify them based on the DNA samples.
And returns pieces of those personal belongings to the family of the deceased. I do wonder, because the name has already been unveiled through many media sources. We're going to do the same. Who was Staff Sergeant Pyun Gi-man exactly?
Yes, so he was born in the southwestern city of Naju. He joined the military in June of 1952. He was just 27 years old at the time, served as part of the Army's 9th Infantry Division. He was killed during the fierce 10-day battle of the White Horse Ridge that started on October 6th, 1952. And the battle ended in victory for the South Korean side. However, it produced so many casualties.
Thousands.
Yes. The government plans to hold a ceremony today marking the return of Pyun's remains at a Veterans Hall in Osan, which is 43 kilometers south of Seoul. South Korea has so far identified the remains of 200 service members killed in the conflict since it launched this excavation project back in 2000.
That excavation project, it feels like it started so belatedly. But again, better late than never. And there's a reason why we do this. We must respect the fallen and return the bodies of the deceased to the rightful, family members.
Well, Pyun, he actually had a daughter at the time when he joined the war. He never really got to see much of her. But anyways, and she never had memories, of her dad growing up.
Okay.
But, after, they identified his remains, she said she felt so thankful, because she's always been haunted by, what if I had met him? And what if I had memories with my father growing up. So
and these relics, these pieces, they have stories of its own. So for the daughter and the family,
closure.
It might mean closure.
Yes.
All right, we'll leave it there for now as we turn our attention to our second World Cup related story of the day. It's sort of unexpected and I have to do a double take at the picture too.
So a Bangladeshi couple, they're huge fans of South Korea.
In general.
And they decided to sort of honor South Korea and to cheer for Team South Korea at the 2022 World Cup Games with a 3.5 kilometer long banner that's made up of hundreds of South Korean flags that have been stitched together.
I mean, just the work of stitching together a 3.5 kilometer long banner. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so his name is Abu Kausir, and he used to work in South Korea for many years, and he says it was South Korea that gave his family prosperity, so the least he and his wife could do is cheer on, their benefactor, South Korea, during the World Cup.
Has reportedly never been to South
Has never been to South Korea. But he has told her many, many tales of his life here. And she says she has been fascinated every time she heard the stories, the beauty of the country and all the trends and the food and the culture.
I've got to say, fond memories don't always result in a 3.5 kilometer long banner.
No.
The dedication is different. I mean, it's not just time consuming, it's actually quite costly too, it turns out.
Imagine how confused their neighbors must feel. Is
it fair for me to assume that some of the neighbors might not even recognize the flag? I mean, that's fair,
possibly,
right? In Bangladesh, right?
So we're streaming an image of Mr. Kausir holding up, many Korean flags, and he's standing on top of a pile of Korean flags, it looks like.
That's the banner, folks.
Yes. Anyways, they have actually hung this banner. It weaves a path from their home along nearby streets and over a river on a bridge to a neighboring village as well. Now, this extravagant tribute has costed them $5,000, and it's a testament of his love for South Korea.
And I can't even put a cost on the time that they had to put in to create this extremely long banner of Korean national flags. But first of all, where do you even get that many flags?
I know, right? That's
on short notice. I mean, aren't we having a tricky situation with supply chains? I mean, there you go. It's a different level of dedication. I do wonder, what is Mr. Kausir's full story here? What was his job in South Korea? Why are these memories so fond?
So he was responsible for scraping components out of used handsets and other consumer goods, melting down gold and preparing it for resale. And he's 45 years old now, and he says the resources to start his own jewelry business at home was all thanks to his work here. And, he says he's now considered a middle-class family in Pakistan. And he was completely enthralled by his experience of the 2002 Korea-Japan World Cup as well. He immediately became a fan of star midfielder Yoon Jong-han. And he hired a tailor, for those of you who are wondering, did he and his wife sew all these flags together? No, they hired a tailor. It took 2 weeks to sew the flags together into this long banner. And he partially bankrolled this project by selling a mango orchard that he inherited from his father. So this is really, really personal.
And a different kind of dedication. And you could enforce anyone to do this.
Exactly. So now visitors from other villages and towns, they're coming to actually see this incredible sight. They can't quite believe what they're seeing. But apparently soccer is very, very popular in Pakistan, especially during the World Cup period. But Pakistan's number one sport is very famously cricket. But during the World Cup season, diehard supporters spend fortunes painting their homes in the national colors of the preferred Latin American teams. Latin American teams are especially popular, I hear, especially Brazil and Argentina.
And Mr. Kausir thought, okay, so the spirit is alive, but my dedication is to Team South Korea. That's a fascinating story.
And I read this story about how his neighbors are gently, they're ribbing him. I don't think South Korea is going to win the World Cup, but he says it doesn't matter because everyone loses. Somebody wins, somebody loses in a game.
Someone gotta lose. That's how the game goes.
Exactly.
So, but you still root for the team that you like the most. I mean, if you just rooted on the teams that are most likely to win.
What's the fun in that?
There is absolutely no fun. And as for who's going to win, I'm just going to let all the sports experts decide.
December 18th, we'll know.
All right, on to our final story of the day. Now, when Sunung took place, just a few days ago, actually, right? And we're still talking about, was it an easier test? Was it tough for everybody? But For a select group of women, I think just the experience itself of being at the Suning test site was something to be celebrated.
That's right. A group of women who were never given a chance to go to school or study in their youth like most of their peers have finally taken their first step at a new, I guess, phase in life. A group of women took the CSATs beside many South Korean high schoolers. One of them is Ms. Kim Geun-bong, who is 68 years old this year.
68.
Yep. And she's the president of her class at Ilsung Girls High School, which is an educational institution for adult women. She started her studies late in life, and she was one of the 500,000 students across the nation who took the Suning exam on November 17th. And she says the age of her classmates range between, well, those in their 20s to their 80s, actually. And 20 of her classmates took the exam this year.
I've seen a footage of some of these women going to the Suning test sites just days before the exam date. And you see them walking around just an empty classroom or the empty field in front of the school. And they just look so overwhelmed by the emotion of being able to take the exam. And I thought, that's a grand shift from what we've been talking about.
Remember how we talked about the 95-year-old Latin Grammy Award winner just yesterday, and her message was, "It's never too late."
Yeah.
And,
it's kind of a universal
the same
theme,
message.
isn't it?
Exactly. Now, all of these women have one thing in common. They started late, but they all got the support they needed from their family, their sons and daughters, grandchildren, and their husbands. Now, Ms. Kim has already received a letter of acceptance from the Social Service Counseling and Welfare Department from Myeongji College in Seoul. She's always been involved in community service, helping deliver kimchi and rice to the elderly and underprivileged youth. And her dream is to get her college diploma and become a social worker. And she hopes to eventually run her own social welfare organization with her family.
Because I was thinking Ms. Kim has done enough to maybe inspire us.
You don't have to study to inspire people, but this is her dream. So I'm fully in support.
All right.
Now, one of her classmates who took the exam with her is 58-year-old Kwon Young-sun, and she has also applied to social welfare departments at 2 different universities. And her reason for wanting to go to college really touched me, because she says she wanted to study welfare for the elderly to take care of her mother-in-law, who is 100 years old this year.
Oh my
Isn't
goodness.
that so sweet?
It's a different kind of love, isn't it? I mean, to look after your mother, that's one thing. Mother-in-law, I think that's a little bit different.
I know,
right?
Yes. She never went to school because she had to take care of her younger brothers who did attend school. And she says one of the best things about going to school finally was that she got her name back. And you might be wondering, what do you mean?
Her identity?
Yeah, she says she's always been referred to as somebody's mother or somebody's daughter-in-law or somebody's wife. And in school, everyone calls her by her name, Young-sun. And she says that makes her feel both shy and really happy at the same time.
Something so simple, but maybe not quite, right?
Yeah.
I've got to say, it's inspirational on a whole different level this morning.
That's right. You know, more than anything, Ms. Kwon says through her studies, she has found hope. And she says that she felt like she was finally coming out of a cave. Yeah. You know, she was never confident to speak up in front of a lot of people. She never had that confidence, you know. But now, hopefully, she will gain that confidence.
The confidence, and she clearly has reasons to pursue further studies, and that is unbeatable.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Erica.
Pleasure.
I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
If you're listening to our program using the podcast service, just a reminder that we do go live Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Korea Standard Time. So tune in and help us make the show more informative by giving us your input. See you bright and early on Good Morning Seoul.